is a mother of 2 children. She's married, and she actually has one son that is autistic. And so she has that in her wheelhouse that she deals with. So if you have anybody that you know that has autistic children, she'd probably be a good one to reach out to. She has a degree in early childhood development, which is probably a blessing for you as well, Rachel.
Yes.
You know, God knows where to send us sometimes, right? So
Yes.
Rachel talk. So you go right ahead.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm Rachel. How are we doing this morning? Are we still awake? Are we running on coffee? Yes.
Yes.
When I pause to sip, I've been doing this since 5 a.m. And it keeps me going. And I'm probably a little like this by now, but it's okay. I had 6 classes this morning. And so Paige mentioned one of the videos I've made, one of the things I talk about is just how to keep going, how to stay positive. I've had a lot of life in my years. I've had a lot of life experiences that are not so pleasant, that can easily keep you from wanting to get out of bed in the morning or doing things, working. And so I have had enough other people come to me and to have those same feelings. And especially right now, when we have nothing to do but be in our PJs all day and we can't leave our house and we can't see our friends. And, you know, how do you get up? How do you keep going? So I just threw together kind of a list of a few things that have been helpful for me, things that help me keep going and stay uplifted so that when I do get up and teach, I'm not like, how are you? What's your name? You know, I can have the spirit I need to have to keep the kids engaged. So I wrote them down, so when I do this, I'm making sure I'm covering what I want to say. And the very first thing is going to sound really basic, but you just have to get up. Like for me, some days, that's a success. That's you know, if you can just get yourself out of the bed, you have succeeded at the day. Congratulations, you win. Because sometimes that's hard. And especially for people, if you don't have morning classes to teach, if you don't have to get up for work, it's hard to do. And so that's number one. Just keep getting up every day, get out of the bed. And even if you just change your PJs, just put some clean PJs on maybe.
Yeah. And I just read about making your bed, that's the thing that we should do, because that means we accomplished once, at least we did one thing that day. We actually got up, but we actually made the bed, and that kind of sets the tone for the day too.
Yes.
So how many people make their bed when they get up at 3:30 in the morning to teach or 4?
There's still people in my bed at that time.
I make up my side.
Just pull up your one side of the bed.
Nope, I want to get back in my bed, so I do not make it.
And that is true. Depending on what hours you're teaching, you may be crawling back into the bed, but you did get up and work, so good job. So that's my first thing, is just get up. Get up and do whatever it is you can do that day. The second thing is reaching out. And right now, I'm so thankful for technology, for things like this, for FaceTime. And I've discovered on Facebook Messenger, you can video chat with people. Did y'all know that? Did everyone know that but me in the world? Look,
Yeah,
I see a no. Yay, thanks, Mandy. It wasn't just me, because I have an Android phone, and so I can't FaceTime. I don't have an iPhone. And so we discovered we can use Messenger. But anyway, just reaching out to somebody saying, I need to talk to somebody. I need some socialization. So whatever that looks like for you, and it's a brave thing to do that. Like, I want to validate that. It's brave to contact somebody and say, I just need to talk to somebody. I just need somebody to tell me to get up out of bed or whatever, or to vent about something. So whether it's friends, family, if you don't feel like you have that, a church nearby, counselor, there are resources out there. So don't keep it all inside. That feels yucky. The third thing that's really helped me has been a gratitude journal. Does anybody else out there do any form of gratitude? Okay, I see a little bit. So this, you can have a paper, just like a spiral notebook you got at the dollar store, or you can get a legit buy it off Amazon, gratitude journal. There's an app you can download on your phone and just keep track of like the 5 things you're thankful for today. And just being able to think through that and, oh, there are things to be thankful for, kind of can bring you up out of the yuck, instead of thinking the world is in chaos and we're all going to die and there's a virus and I can't even go to Walmart, and think of what the good things have been for the day.
So
and
why
write
don't
it
we
down.
ask everybody, Rachel, to put 3 things, this will be your start, 3 things in the chat box that you're grateful for. That would be good. So then we can see what other people are grateful for, but that'll be a good start to your gratitude journals.
Yes, get you going on it. If you can think of 3 things now and then finish it up tonight before you go to bed. Wrap up your evening with gratitude too. That helps. So, and sometimes you may feel like you're naming the same thing over and over. It's good to think of 1 or 2 new things if you can, but just to know there are still things that are good in life is helpful. I'm a big reader. I know we've got a lot of teachers here, so I would imagine I'm not the only one who likes to read in this group. Anybody else a reader? And yes, okay, good. And even if you don't, like I've got a friend, she hates reading books, but she loves podcasts and she loves listening to music. And so just putting life-giving words into your mind, in through your ears, however it is you consume it, just have something that is helpful. Because if you sit and watch the news all day, every day, yeah, exactly, that's not going to fill your cup. That's not going to get you out of the junk. So does anybody have, I was going to ask this, does anybody have a specific book or podcast that you love, that you feel like this is life-giving for me, this lifts me up? Anybody? Yeah, Kimberly, do you have one? Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, so I just unmuted. Okay, so I listen to Joyce Meyer every morning before I get out of bed. I have to take medication at a certain time. So I take it, I listen to her, and then I can have my coffee. And then also Rachel Hollis.
Yes.
She is also very positive.
Yes. Yes, good. I love those. Does anybody else have one?
Kimberly, will you type those in the chat for us?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you. Another one I really love, all her books, and she's on a podcast with a couple of other women, is Holly Girth, and I will type her name. She is all about just identifying your own strengths and skills, your God-given strengths and skills, and just the positive aspects of you and what that looks like in daily life and how to live in that way. So I love her. Look her up. She's good. Okay, so life-giving words. And then the last thing, and this sounds kind of hokey and I get weird looks when I say this, but if you can list 5 positive things about yourself, 5 things about yourself that you know are your strengths, your skills, things you like about you, or things that people say are positives about you, write them down. And even if you only do that once a week and just kind of look back at them to remind yourself, this is worth remembering, it's worth celebrating, and it gets your brain back in a positive space if you're having a hard time. So those are my main, those have been helpful for me. And I can type those out in the chat before we get done if you'd like to have those there. But doing all these things, trying to keep this spirit, helps me when I do get up out of bed and have to get into my classrooms, have the energy that I need for the kids. So I will transition to intro for getting in. How many level 1 teachers do we have in here? Oh, so many. Aren't they exhausting? But I love them. I mean, Paige said my area is early childhood, and it was early childhood special ed. And so I love the babies. But man, especially if you get them back to back, it's like you're doing this the whole time, right? So the biggest thing for me when I start those classes is when I open that camera, I'm already smiling. I don't really know what's on the other side yet, but I'm already smiling because you want them to feel welcome with you. If they don't feel like you want them to be there, they're done. They're going to shut down and not participate. And so I will start my class at the risk of looking like a total goober. You know, level 1 comes on, I open my camera, I say, ah, hello. And you see if they're going to say it back. That's it. Hello. Yes, hello. You're doing this like 50 times. And maybe they can already say their name. You know, they're all over the place with this level. So just to get them excited to be there, maybe you're busting out, Dino, Dino, here, where, oh, my Dino fell. My children stole my Dino. Dino, and you're excited. Does anybody else have kids that steal their props or reclaim their toys that you have repurposed as props? So just to get them excited. For level 2, hopefully by that point they can say hello, what's your name? And I have some that still early on don't say, my name is, and you say it for them. And I count out words for this level all the time because then I can just do this. And they realize, or if they're missing an you know, throw that in, where's that word? So the biggest thing I would say for level 1 and 2 is just to already be excited. Even if you read the teacher feedback and it said, this is the worst kid I've ever taught in my life. I hope they stop booking me. This is horrible. You might be the one that they really love. And so you still go in excited to see them and encourage them to participate and cheer. I feel like a cheerleader when I teach these classes, you know, yes, high five, good job. You're so excited about the whole thing. And then 25-minute hits and you go, ah, and do it again.
And maybe Carol can talk on this when she talks as well too, but I feel like we may be some of the only real positive, upbeat things of their day sometimes, you know, that they are just beat down in their own schoolwork and just so much pressure that just having 25 minutes of a fun educational experience is, you know, such a great thing for them.
Yes, and I will say one of the things I wanted to say, and this sounds crazy as a teacher to say it, but I feel like in these classes, because of that especially, having a pleasant, enjoyable, fun class is more important than making sure they've mastered content. Because if you don't have the first, you won't have the second. If it wasn't fun, if they're not glad to be there, if they're not engaging with you, the second part's not going to happen anyway. And so I focus a lot more on that. I have a regular just the other day. I've taught her at least 1.5 years, twice a week. She schedules me every Tuesday and Friday. And she came to class one day, and I mean, her face, you could tell she had been sobbing, and then they opened the camera. And so I realized that I was like, well, we may not be learning anything today, but she's going to be smiling by the end of class. Dadgummit. Whether we do nothing else. And that mom commented to me later, she had been practicing piano and it wasn't going well, and she had yelled at her, and your kid's not going to learn when they're in that. And so just getting them to the point where they're happy to be there, then they're more receptive to.
Well, and if you have kids, then you know how hard it is to get your kids to go to practice or piano or something like that if if they don't want to be there. You know, if they don't like their coach or they don't like, then it's hard. And, you know, the more we can help these parents want their kids to come to class, the more they're going to book you up too, I think, you know.
Right. And I noticed someone earlier had mentioned needing more parent feedback, you know, not getting as much of that. I think I checked this morning and I just went over 1,300 5 apples. So I'm like having a party over here.
Yay!
But, and again, I'm on my 6th contract and I have 3 4 apples, but that's it. And thank you. And I really feel like the only reason for that is having that focus, trying to maintain a positive experience for the child. Yes, they want their kid to learn and you want the kid to learn, and that's important. but one of, you know, the tags that parents can give you, you can have like so many tags. Almost every single one of mine says humorous on it. Which I was like, that wasn't really what I was going for, but okay, I'll take it. They almost all, she's humorous. Like there's extension, there's pronunciation, great, but they all say humorous. And I'm not mad about it. And they keep booking me. Right now, when there's these holes in the schedule, because so many are teaching, I have my regulars, and I might have 1 or 2 new students, but I'm still almost fully booked because those same students will book me. And that just is making that connection, having that rapport with the student. That makes a big difference. And then the parents want to say, what a great class. Thank you for teaching my child and for doing, and for being humorous or whatever.
Yes. Well,
All right.
Thank you, Rachel. Do you all have any questions for Rachel? I know you had a lot of level 1s in here. I personally do not teach level 1, and I said, I'm not sure I want to open up level 1. I don't have that type of energy at 4 and 5 in the morning. Not that I don't have energy for the kid, but I have a hard time. I'm like, oh, I don't know about them yet. So let's stay with the older kids. So Terry, go ahead. Oh, nope, hit it again.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can now.
Okay, Rachel, I do have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I did put it in the box. I'm still fairly new. I've got like 13 regular students that keep rebooking me,
Yeah.
and a few new ones, you know, are coming. And I want to know how I can get more feedback. It's not so much every feedback I get is 5 apples, but I've been going to the feedback workshops, and I've been saying things like they've got all 5 stars. If you enjoy my class, please give me some feedback. I don't ask for 5 apples. Sometimes I ask, sometimes I don't. But I mean, I get 5 apples when I ask. How do I get more parents to give me feedback? I've tried different ways to talk about it. Please let me know how I can help your child. Please let me know what her child's hobbies are, so I can reply to you. And I still don't get enough feedback.
Yeah, it sounds like you're doing all the things that I would know to do. Yeah, Kayla has her sign that like, ooh, I love 5 apple feedback. And you can do that. You can stick that in there.
Actually, Paige's sign.
Oh, Paige.
I'll share
Unless
that.
everybody shares it.
I'll share that out with you guys. I made it. Don't recreate the wheel. I'll send it to you. It's not,
Who said that? Who is?
Oh,
Paige.
Kayla. Look up at Kayla. She'll hold her sign up, Terry.
Okay. And the other question I have is I am wanting, oh, thank you. wanting to get on WeChat. And I asked a parent, I showed my code, and I said, can you scan my code? And I put it up to the camera, and she scanned it, and she tried to, and she said she saw some of the numbers, but she couldn't see all of them. And I put it even closer, and it looked clearer, and she still said she could not see all of the numbers. So what do I do?
You can also, in your parent feedback, you can tell them your WeChat name, your WeChat ID. Like if you're teacher Terry, you can say, find me on WeChat.
That's my show name, Terry M.
Okay, so you might, find me on WeChat. I'm Terry M. And they can look for you. That's what I only have 4 or 5 students, and they are my like regulars. That's that I have given that to, and I didn't have it for the first 2.5 years. And then I had one of them ask. So I got it, and it's hard to scan through computer cameras. So you can just, the ones you want to share it with, you can type your WeChat name in
so
there.
I just say, find me on WeChat, and they would find me by Terry M.
Yes, and you would tell them that. So find me, Terry M, on WeChat. And you can, I know I am not a Google Slides digital person. I'm very much props and paper, but I do know people that make Google Slides with the QR code on it, and they may put that up at the beginning of class before class starts, like while you're waiting for the countdown. And parents can see it that way, and you can put it up again at the end of class.
Well, but if I do that, they still can't scan it, right?
I don't know if that would be easier to scan or not, since it's not coming through the camera.
Right. I didn't think about that. Okay.
So
Because I want you to do that. Now, once I do get on WeChat, how does that work? How do I know that I'm on it and I can communicate?
It's just an app. just like a messaging app like texting or Facebook Messenger, you get notifications that so-and-so has messaged you.
So do I need to add the app first?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, so if you add the app, Terry, I will try and send you, but there's some YouTube videos. That's what I did, to be honest with you. I watched a couple YouTube videos because there's parts of WeChat that you're not going to understand and not going to be able to use. So I would just do watch one of the videos on how to use WeChat. And I mean, that really was helpful.
Okay.
You can stop it and start it and kind of figure it out. Oh, okay. And Carol says there's a Facebook group, Teacher Using Chinese Social Media.
Okay.
So that would be a good one to reach out.
What's the pros of using WeChat and like the cons? Like, because I'm kind of nervous just overstepping the lines. So
I didn't have it for the longest time because because I worked in special ed and I covered like 4 counties. I'm very particular about who I give my contact information to outside of work. And so only the students that I see every single week and I have for a very long time, I know they're decent, not crazy people. I will give them my information. And sometimes I've got one, she just loves to share pictures with me of her child. I don't ever post anything on it. I don't upload pictures of my family. I respond if I am messaged. So if someone were to say, hey, Ruby is sick today and can't be in class, we have to cancel, that just lets me know ahead of time. Or, hey, Ruby had a piano recital, here's the video of it, It's kind of more of that personal connection, or if you want to let them know that you are sick.
Okay, I have another question. If you do WeChat, how do you get followers? Does that help the WeChat? Does that help followers? Because I only have 14 followers. Is that my regular students?
Yeah, that's not going to help your followers. I don't.
How do you get followers?
The followers are going to come from I think the people that you teach. They will start to follow you. And actually, Carol has another video that I watched that it was amazing. So a lot of these questions too are in the support tab. There is a search bar and you can search your questions because Terry, out of the 100,000 teachers that are out there, I bet you other people have had that same question.
For sure.
And I found it I saw teacher Carol, she did a brand ambassador, I think, on it. And it was, to me, it was like all of a sudden I had the VIPKID Bible. And because when I started, I wanted a manual that I could use a highlighter on and that I could just go, oh, that's it. Oh, when I have a student not show up for UA, what do I do? Do. But actually, if you ask those questions in the search thing, you get the answers. So it's a great place to go to find answers and real answers because they're coming from VIPKID.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What's the best times for level 1?
Oh, early, I think.
I have them all. In the beginning, the early classes, but because I have set teaching hours and a lot of my level 1s are now regulars, a lot of the parents, if they truly, truly want you, they will plug in wherever they can, especially if they were sick or on vacation and they've lost that priority booking spot. I start with my level 1s at 4:30 or 5, and sometimes I'm teaching them all the way until 9 o'clock. It just kind of depends. But yes, my level 1s.
Yeah, in the morning. Yeah, because and when I don't know about you, but when I have them booking that late, like 7:30 in the morning, for them that's 8:30, 9 at night. I've had a few try to fall asleep on me. But mom wants you to teach their kid, so they're going to book it anyway. So you can get them at any time, but they do prefer the earlier morning slots because it's enough before the kids have to go to bed.
That was a good question. Yeah, because I asked that same question. They're like, oh, you get them really early in the morning. I'm like, oh, okay. Let's not do that.
Is it possible just to have level 1 and no other levels? Because I still have my 2 and 3 certification.
If you want to get rid of that 2 and 3 certification, then nobody would be able to book you except for level 1s. But anytime you have any certification, because we don't actually schedule the classes ourselves, we're open to whatever the parents get to.
So you can submit a ticket and request a certification to be removed. If you just like super hate it. Like you add a supplementary class, you get in there and you're like, this is the worst thing I've ever done in my life. I cannot keep doing this. You can submit a ticket and say, please remove this certification, and they'll do that. But yeah, kind of like she said, if you only have level 1s, that's not the majority of who's booking VIPKID classes. So you would not probably have as many bookings.
And it would also limit you, Lorena, to if you get some level 1s that you really enjoy working with, and they, you know, matriculate up to the level 2s, you know, at least you'll be able to move with them too. Terry.
Yes, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I wanted to ask, I'm still fairly new. My bookings, in my second contract, my bookings are slowly every week getting
Yay,
yay. Not overnight full, but bigger and bigger. Okay, so my question is, I'm not getting that many short notice. Is that normal to not get that many short notice bookings? I open at 3 a.m.
I'm not getting many either lately. I don't know.
I get like 2 or 3 a month, maybe not even that.
The people that do that consistently, and that's all they do, and there are parents that know that's how they do their schedule, will wait and look for that and book them. So the people that book short notice consistently, that's just how they do it. They don't ever open up 2 weeks in advance. And those parents that follow them know to look for classes the next day. But most people, I think, to have consistent bookings, you just about have to open up ahead of time.
So if it's okay the night before, if I notice that my first class is at 5, I can just click off the 24-hour function if I want to. Is that, I mean, you know, so I will sleep a little extra time. Okay, second question I have. If I were to take a vacation, I'm still new, sorry. If I wanted to take a vacation, like in, let's say a week in September.
Just don't open slots.
But I worry about losing my regular students.
Just let them know. In your feedback, let them know that you're taking a week off. I mean, they're human. They know people need a vacation. So just let them know that you're going to be off for a week and you'll look forward to seeing them. And by then, actually, by the time your vacation comes, they will have already booked the next, you know, week coming. So just let them know.
So they'll just take someone else for that week and then come back to me?
They'll
take a week off.
They won't take class. They may take it off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
I have had to miss a month at a time. I've had neck surgery, I've had shoulder surgery where I've had to miss an entire month at a time. I knew it was coming, so ahead of time on my regulars, I would tell them in parent feedback, I will be unavailable to teach these dates. And I'd just let them know. And I would mark my availability on the calendar. And then when I knew I was coming back, I would either send them a card, like looking forward to seeing you in class, you know, those little gift cards you can send, or if you have them on WeChat, you can message them like, it's time, I'm coming back, book me please.
Or if you get the priority booking from them, then I will put it in there when I decline it. And I don't know if they read it, but I do put in there, you know, I'm sorry, I can't teach it this time. I'm going to be on vacation. I look forward to seeing you again. So I just give them another little note there too.
Yeah, and I know in January I had some unexpected stuff come up and I didn't know how much I was going to teach, but I didn't say a lot because I wasn't sure. And then once I did end up pursuing having more hours, I just opened it and I only lost 1 student out of all that. So even if you don't let them know, if they like you and are interested, they'll pick up with you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we are going to move on because Teacher Carol has a lot of great things that I want her to share with us. But while Teacher Carol is talking, what I want you to do, I wanted to know, because we were talking about how many people have kids, type in the chat box the age of your children. If you have children, type in the age of your children. All right, so Carol has been teaching with VIPKID. I just wrote it down. How many? She's taught over 11,000 classes. Carol, are you that old? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
My kids are 30, 28, and 25, so I think I am.
Oh my gosh, you do not look that old by any means. She is
hair color works wonders.
Yes, she is in her 4th year at VIPKID. So you started. I mean, how long has VIPKID been around then? I mean, to be honest with you, were you one of the first?
5+? I was in the first 700.
Okay.
7 or 800-ish, I think. Yeah.
So you've seen a lot of changes.
Yeah,
and
a lot of
obviously you still love it because you're still here.
Yeah.
I I don't know Teacher Carol. I have watched probably every one of her YouTubes because I think she's straight on. She's to the point. She's got some great information, and I'll share that too, so you can go check her out because she is really good. And I think, are you still a brand ambassador, Carol?
Yeah, we've paused we have contracts still, but they've paused having us do that just because during all this time of transition with the 2 offices not being available, we have everything that we do has to be approved by both Beijing and San Francisco, and they are not all in the office right now. So we've had to pause all of that until everybody gets back to work. So yeah, so we're contracted, but we're really not doing a lot with it right now.
Okay, well, good. All right, well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you share. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, I love this. This is such a great idea. I mean, we're all just sitting at home. Why not? You know, why not do this? I wrote a couple things down because of the things that you guys were mentioning. And I thought I would just mention for feedback, if this is helpful at all, I don't know. For feedback, I did a poll one time. I have about 70 parents on WeChat. Now, in fairness, I teach a lot of students of the people that I lived in China for 10 years. So I teach a lot of those people's kids. So in fairness, some of them are on there. You know, it's not all just because people flocked to me, right? I know the people, and then I've been able to start teaching their kids. But feedback, as far as the actual feedback you write, doesn't always get read. So if you want to get feedback, you probably need to try to ask that in a different way, in a different mode of getting it. So one of the good things you can do is, well, like Rachel mentioned some really good things, like, yeah, hold up your side. Yeah, that's great. I always, when I first started adding people to my WeChat, I was very careful. I don't just add Susie because I taught Susie today. I wait until I've taught her. I feel like we're a good connection, like I could actually do something for her and we seem to work well in the classroom. If I don't feel that of a student, I don't add them to my WeChat, just because I feel like I'm not doing a service to them when there's 100,000 plus teachers that could do it better. Why not let them do it better? And some people you just don't connect with well, and you want to connect, you know, because that's a big deal. So I would just go into the box, the chat box in class, and I would write WeChat, and then I would put my name. My WeChat ID is just Teacher Carol E, which is my name, Teacher Carol E. And I would just say at the end of class to the student, you can tell your mom this is my WeChat. And so they can go back and look at the playback and they can find my handle, you know, what I am. Or that many times the kids would just pause the class and go tell their mom, and then the mom would come in and look, and you know, then boom, I would see a notification that she had added me. So I did it that way. That's helpful. I always wrote it in my feedback at the end of classes at the beginning when I first started adding people too. That's how you can also get LPs will follow you on WeChat, which is super helpful because the LPs are our life. Like, they're watching our classes, they're recommending us to students, they're recommending to parents how we could best help their student. And so then you kind of start to get narrowed in on the student that works well for you, because the LPs are watching how you teach and what your strengths are, and then they're recommending you to students that need that strength. So I really felt like that was helpful, is to start to get some communication with the LPs too. So that's just my for what it's worth on WeChat. It's a helpful thing, and as far as connecting it to Chinese culture, it's like a direct connection to their culture, far more than our feedback, far more than our playback. Their WeChat is their life there. They pay for things with WeChat. They shop with WeChat. All of their communication is WeChat. So
connect.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. How do you connect with the LPs on WeChat? Because we don't know their names.
No, they connect with you. So if
they will find us.
Yeah, if they see a class where your WeChat identification is there, they'll add it themselves. They love to do that. They love it.
Would you recommend, like, in the feedback where you can leave a message to the LP inviting them to say, this is my WeChat?
Yep, for sure, for sure.
Perfect.
And especially if it's a student that you really would love to retain, let them know and then give them your WeChat, because then what they'll do is they'll keep an eye on your feed, or they'll talk to you. You know, they'll
Okay.
get on there and communicate with you. They
That's
love
cool.
it. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am. Mhm.
Yes. When you said teacher Carol, mine is Terry M. Should I say teacher Terry M, or should I just say Terry M?
Yes, teacher Terry M, for sure. Your exact, whatever your WeChat is, you give them that. And
Okay,
then
but I don't have I'm not on WeChat. So when I add my app, do I type in teacher Terry M?
I would make your name be your show name. That's
Teacher
very
Terry?
helpful.
So I can add the teacher in front. Teacher
Yes.
Terry M.
Yes. That's what I do. And it's helpful because when they're looking in their app, then they know what to look for and they can get it a lot quicker. That's a good question.
Can we change our name in WeChat?
Yes, you can change your name in WeChat as long as your phone number doesn't change. You can change your name.
And you can also, because I have WeChat too, I only have a handful, I mean, maybe like 6 kids on mine as well. And so when they friend you, it's in Chinese. So but they usually will say, hey, I'm so-and-so's mom. And so I put you can change it to, I put Emily's mom next to the Chinese characters in there too.
Yeah.
So I know who I'm talking to or who's trying.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because I have like 5 Jasons, It's like, so then I have like small, medium, and large Jason. That's how I.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I remember them.
Mom, small Emily's mom.
Yes. Connections are big in China. Like for you asking about followers, Terry, I think it was you was asking about followers. That connection is how you get those followers. They not only will they love your class, which you really want them to love your class. So you got to put it on for them. You need to make sure they really enjoy your class, that you're engaging with them, on a personal level. And then once you've done that, then you'll start to get those connections with them. And then it follows through when you have WeChat, because then, and I am, someone else mentioned it, I don't post a lot of stuff on my WeChat. I don't send random messages to moms. I just don't do that. I keep that as my little barrier for my personal time and for my professionalism, but I do answer texts. I don't take kids on either. I just don't take any students. With the exception of 2 people that I personally know, the moms, and they personally have told me that's acceptable and that's fine. But I don't just take any student either. But that connection, so when you're in a classroom and you're working with your student and you go from like, what did you eat for dinner? Or what's your favorite hobby? Then the next time you come back to class, you need to reconnect again. So, you play the piano. Did you practice your piano today? Bringing back whatever happened from that last class and connecting, because to Chinese people, you love my kid, you love my family, you are our family. That's kind of how it goes. And so, that connection brings followers and brings feedback, brings all of those things. So really the feedback for VIPKID, what they're looking for, the reason VIPKID hasn't gotten rid of it altogether is because they want to know what the parents think, and they want to know that you're succeeding inside that classroom every 25 minutes. And the way they know that is because you're making the connections and you're getting the positive feedback from parents. Also, let me see. I was just going to see what else you guys talked about.
Brianna, you can send me on Facebook if you want to send me. Sometimes you have to verify within just like 2 minutes or something. So if you want to send me your WeChat little icon or QR code or something, sometimes it'll allow me. I've tried to do it on Facebook Messenger for other people and it won't scan it. So, I mean, it's just kind of weird sometimes. So, but yeah.
Well, the other thing I was just going to mention is that when you're looking for feedback or followers and for your classroom, I think Rachel was talking a little bit about this, about what they experience in their classroom. So I taught in China in schools for a number of years, and the Chinese teachers are just everything is drilling, everything is just here's 20 words, I say it, you say it, I say it, you say it, I say it, you say it. I teach the rural education also. I've been teaching that since we first started it back 4 years ago. We started it when I first began working here. It was in our pilot stage, so we only taught a few classes, and they had anybody who could speak Mandarin and we taught those classes because our teachers on the ground there didn't speak English. So one of the things that you are doing in this, the reason VIPKID created these classrooms to be different is because they wanted the kids to be drawn to it in a way that they're not drawn to their everyday classroom. They're not drawn to those teachers the same way because those teachers are just, you know, facts, 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 you know, learn it, memorize, stop it, be quiet, sit down, stop, shh, you know, it's just very harsh and very straightforward. And so we're more fun and more relaxed, and we work a little bit harder at personal engagement than they do. For them to personally engage with their teacher is going to be weird. They're not going to do that. And the parents there are afraid of teachers. So parents are a little bit afraid of them. They're nervous about teachers. So that's why when we talk about trial classes and we say engage the parent, you know, they're talking about that right now with our trial classes as that next step, because those parents typically are very hesitant of teachers or interacting with their teachers.
They
What?
never talk to me. They never talk to me.
They don't. In China, they won't. I mean, in China, if you get called by the teacher or you have to see the teacher, parents will have a anxiety attack over that. That's very concerning. That teacher holds the key to your kid's future, you know. So you have to remember, in their minds, that teacher controls your potential next grade or your potential ability to pass this test or the ability to move on and to make something of yourself. So a lot of these teachers are just feared. So for us, we have to show that we're approachable and we're able to be engaging with the kid and the parent. And so that's why with trial classes, we're trying to show them that, right? By bringing them in, you know, and saying, hey, mom, hi, you know, trying to show them that we're a friendly face, you know.
So if you try to engage them, Carol, is that okay when you know they're there?
I always do. Yeah.
I had one parent, it was in a trial. I've actually only converted one trial. And she messaged me and said, I want you to be my teacher. She said, you talk to me. She said no one else had talked to her. Like, I engaged the mom, and then because then I thought, well, was that wrong to engage them? I always say, bye mom, bye dad, you know, just so that you know that I realize that they are there.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's huge. Like, I mean, that even if I wait, I pause, and if like there's something in the class, like this is my mom, this is my dad, I'll be like, where's your mom? You know, because I know they know, you know, the moms, and I'll be like, you know, there's the mom right there, right? Is that your mom? You know, just trying to get, and then sometimes you'll get mom and she'll stick her head in and wave, and then you're like, hi mom, you know. But I try really hard to always acknowledge, and if I don't ever see them for the whole class, which is rare with a trial for me, but if I don't, then I usually will say, where's your mom? You know, where's your mom? You know, or I'll try to get that mom to come back so that, you know, sometimes she'll say it and I'll go, thank you, mom, you know, Susie did such a good job, you know, so that she at least sees that I'm interested in her, you know.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
I had a question about, because this came up when I first started my first winter in teaching VIPKids, and they all had on these enormous winter coats. And I was like, oh my gosh, they are rushing, you know, because my mentality is, you know, they're on the go, they're all, and I thought, well, they're just rushing in from something and they didn't even have time to take their coat off. But then they never took their coat off, and some of them had gloves on even. So can you share a little bit about that?
Well, there's two things, home and school, both, you know, I mean, so I lived in China. I lived in both the north and the south, so I have a little bit of experience with both sides. I also have a video on this where I show you what the heating elements look like on the videos. So for China, their heating is very much just this one. They have universal heat up in the north, but in the south, there's like a little bit, well, I mean, I call it the Mason-Dixon line of China. It's probably not, you know, maybe a politically accurate statement to make, but in my mind, that's what I think of, right? Like here in America, we have a Mason-Dixon line, right? They have the similar thing. And so in their infrastructure, one of the reasons China has still been considered a third world country is because they have not upped their infrastructure on a lot of things. They're high up on technology and other things, but infrastructure is lower. So the south of China, the lower end of China, doesn't have heat, central heat. So they have what's called like external resources, and you'll see them. I have a video, I'll send it to you later, but where you can see it's on the wall or it's a standalone unit, and it can be used as air conditioner or it can be used as heat. And that's called supplemental heat. When I was there in China, I did fine in the South with just supplemental heat. We didn't have trouble with it, but you pay for it. Now you don't, I'm sinking my chair. I'm moving myself up here because my chair is broken and I keep sinking. It's like, this happened in class, actually. There you go, watch.
That's a good one to teach growing, because that's what I do sometimes. Like I pull my computer, then I go, Teacher Linda's growing.
Growing. All right, I have many cams, so I can move myself up and down here. But yes, so when we lived in the South, we didn't have trouble with it. Chinese people are super frugal. If they can spend nothing on something, they won't spend it. And so heat to them there's two reasons why. One, it's not healthy because it's extra fake air that's coming in. So fake air isn't healthy to breathe in. And the second reason is because it's going to cost extra money. Why? When we're going to wear 3 layers of clothes anyway. Chinese people do wear 3 layers of clothes. So when they come into their home, they're going to be warm. If they turned on heat, they would have to take all their layers off. And that's not a good thing because you want to keep your core warm, you know? So there's like this whole physical and financial reason for it. It is definitely not, for the most part, because they cannot have it. It's because they choose not to. And that's a kind of a misconception out there that, oh, poor kid, they can't have heat. It's not so much that they cannot, it's that they don't want to pay for that. And that's a choice they make, similar to you and I buying a Cadillac or a small little beater car, right? Like, we're going to choose to go with the cheaper option if we can. So that's why they do it. And then in their schools, for the most part in the schools, they don't furnish heat or air for their schools. So those poor kids, it's very hard there because they won't use the supplemental heat. I was in Chinese universities there, and so I would go in for my one-on-one class, and I would sit down, and the teacher would say to me, now you can choose to have the air on or the heat on, whichever one, or off. It's up to you. You're paying for this hour. And I would say, crank it up, because I'm not going to sit here in my coat. But that's the same in our home. That's what we did. We chose to do it. For us, for a whole winter, it cost us about $400 to heat our home for the entire winter.
Well, that's not bad.
For our family, that was fine, because we could spend we could spend close to that in a cold winter in Michigan in a month and a half. So we kind of felt like it was worth the money, but they wouldn't. They just choose not to, and that's okay, right? It's a cultural thing, you know, that they would choose to not pay for something that's not going to impact my life for the long haul. You know, that's not an investment.
Yeah. The other question that I had, Carol, and I know we're actually at time, guys, so I want to be cognizant of Carol's time too, but and maybe she agreed she'll come back on another time too. So I kind of grabbed her at the last minute because I was like, oh, I'd love to hear more from her. Can you share with me, I teach a lot of the what I would consider middle schoolers. What is their middle school like? They tell me they go to school at 7:30 and don't get home till like 6:30.
Yeah, they have very long days. I had 3 children that we raised in China, and my kids could never be friends with Chinese kids because they were always in school, and then they came home and they had homework. And so, you know, for my kids, the best way, we wanted them to learn Chinese, and I was in the university studying Chinese, my husband was teaching, and we wanted our kids to learn it. And the only way for our kids to learn it was when they went to an international school and they were taught several hours of Chinese every day. But those kids, they leave in the morning and they come home late at night, and they'll drop their bus off. They all go home. They are eating while they're studying, and they're usually studying till 11 or 12 at night. So it's a long day. Many of my friends who had middle schoolers, you pretty much didn't have any relationship with them except on weekends, because they're sitting at the table with their kids. You know, moms are responsible to make sure that the kid succeeds. So moms have to be sitting there doing that work with them, you know, whereas we tend to foster independence with our kids. Go get that homework done. You know, I'll help if you need, but they are basically responsible to make sure their kids have the education they need.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
Before people start hopping off, I wanted to, Mandy, are you still on here? Mandy's on here as well. So Mandy, I met as a Facebook friend too. I call y'all my friends, my virtual VIPKID friends. But Mandy has actually started a VIPKID store of some sort, or ESL store.
Yeah.
And she agreed to do a little giveaway for you guys today. And the giveaway, actually, you don't even know how I chose it, but I chose it when I asked you your age of your kids. I chose the youngest person and that I had the youngest kids, and the one on here was Jennifer, and she has twins. So I figured she needs
wow.
that. She needs that.
Twins.
Yes, she has twins. So Mandy, you want to show us what she's gonna grab, what she's gonna get?
Yes, so this is actually a handy dandy little water vessel. You can put hot, cold in here, so if you're teaching a long day, you can fill it with coffee and refill your cup. But it will have teacher and your name. I didn't know who it was going to be, so I hadn't made it. But it will have a logo on here for you, so that you know that it's yours, and you can fight your kids over it when they're old enough to wrestle you for it.
Well, thank you, and I'm going to.
Thank y'all.
You're welcome.
And Jennifer, if you will, can you message Mandy on the chat your information? Yeah, so just message.
What information do you need? You need address or what?
Yes, so she can get it to you.
Yes,
Okay,
and if you don't want to send it through the chat, you can email it to me. I'll put my email over in the chat so that you could email it. I don't like to put that kind of personal information out there for, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Congratulations.
Thank you. Well, guys, I know you probably have lots to do while you're staying at home. How many have actually accomplished a project while they've been at home? Oh, good. I haven't accomplished any projects. I feel more discombobulated than I've ever felt in my entire life since this has been this
But
way.
Paige, aren't you getting ready to move?
I am. So
That's a project.
that is a project. I will be, my stuff will be hauled away on April the 29th and stored till the end of July for me to move to Colorado.
Wow.
And my son and I are going to be vagabonds. My son that I stayed here to graduate high school, that who knows if that's going to happen. So we're going to just drive around and stay with people for a while.
Oh, wow.
My husband only has a 1-bedroom apartment in Colorado where he is. And so I just decided, you know what, I'm not going to take this 18-year-old all the way out to Colorado, live in a 1-bedroom apartment together where he knows nobody. So we're just going to kind of hang out for a while. So it'll be good. But Kayla, you had a question.
Yes, Mandy, can you put your store name in the chat? People were asking for it.
Yeah, she said she would.
Yes, I'll put it in there. The website is still, that's been my project.
Yes.
The website is almost ready, but I will put some things up on Facebook as well. Here's one of my new shirts. I don't know if you can see it. Time to teach the bow bows.
Cute.
Paige has a new shirt coming, and then one from the last one got a shirt the other day. So it's fun.
How fun.
Happy to share with you guys.
I know. Thank you, guys. This was fun, and it was just nice to kind of look through and see the faces and put some names to the faces. You know, I just love this community. That's something I say all the time. This is one of the best communities of people, and I hope that one day we will get to go to a VIPKID. Have you been to a conference, Carol?
I have
been to a conference.
I was supposed to go to the last one.
I was supposed to go to Atlanta.
I know.
They're
so
great.
I think they're gonna have to make the next one really big, so that it can accommodate more people. But let's hope we can do that too with everything that's going on with the virus. That they'll actually be able to get over and do that kind of stuff too. So.
Can I ask one quick question?
Yes.
How many, anybody in their direct line of contact that's been affected by this COVID? We have multiple in our family. I have a friend that passed away from it.
Oh, Carol. Oh.
Yeah. So it's been really, Michigan's been hit hard. We've been hit. We're like the 3rd worst state, I think, right now. But so I am like on a mission to stay in this house. Like, I don't care. I'll stay in it for 3 months if I have to. But I just was curious how everybody else's experiences are with that.
I was on a thing the other day, and there was a lady in the group, and she had lost 3.
Wow.
Wow.
3 in her family. So I think that's so good when you hear that, Carol, though, because a lot of us who haven't been affected, sometimes we don't, I mean, you see it on the news, but we're like, okay, who's really being affected by this? So it, you know, to know that it is.
Real.
Sure. It's real. Yep.
So, okay, guys, have a great rest of your day. And don't forget to email me with some other topics. And I'm going to email you out because a lot of people ask for Carol's YouTube channel. And I think you can probably find her if you just Google Teacher Carol VIPKID, but I'll send out the direct link for that. And Kayla put in the Zoom, so go ahead and save the chat. If you hit those 3 little dots at the bottom, that saves the chat. Kayla is also hosting a book club. If anybody's interested in doing a kind of virtual book club, it might be kind of fun.
Somebody mentioned Energy Bus, and I think that might be our next book after we do this one.
I've read the Energy Bus. I've actually met, he was a speaker at a conference I went to.
But it's just going to be connecting with people, and it's not necessarily going to be all VIPKID teachers, but it beats being stuck in home and talking to your dogs.
You know what? He might get on your call. He's very nice. Very, very nice. And especially if he's stuck at home right now, you might even be able to get him to join in. Yeah, he's very nice. So, okay, so download that and have a great day. I never know how to say, it's like my kids in the beginning. I never know how to say bye.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Paige.
Game over. Game over. Game over.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Kayla.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
What chapter are you on in your badass at making money?
I have not started it. I'm going to start and read the first 2 chapters. I actually went to a Wine, Women, and Wealth, which is just, again, a bunch of women getting together, and we talk a little bit about finances, and they went through chapter 6. But I'm going to start doing it.
Okay,
soon.
I'm in. All right. Bye, guys.
And you've got Teresa on here, Kayla. She's interested too. So, but I'll be emailing out, so we'll do that. So,
okay.
I put my email in the chat, so y'all can just email me.
I want somebody to call me a badass. She's a badass. They would probably say it in a mean way, though. I want to be a good one. All right, I'm saving the chat too. Bye.
Bye.
All right, Kayla, message me now so I can do your thing. Okay. All right, bye.